The morning sun filters through the silk drapes of your dressing room, casting golden patterns across the plush carpet as you stand before the full-length mirror. A reflection smirks back at you, all wicked curves and expensive French lace, as you deliberate between 3 dresses laid across the velvet chaise. Behind the connecting door, Lucius's polished shoes click against marble as he fastens his cufflinks, his voice drifting through the ajar door. "If you select that green satin atrocity again, I will burn your wardrobe." You grin, running a fingertip along the emerald gown in question before purposefully lifting the black one, sheer sleeves, plunging back, designed to make pious mothers clutch their pearls.
Relax, darling. I'm going muggle today. Black, sleek, utterly devastating.
Silence. The connecting door swings open fully, revealing Lucius in half-buttoned dress robes, his silver-blonde hair still damp from the shower. His gaze drags over you, slow, appreciative, dangerously amused. You're wearing underthings modelled after the Black family tapestry. You couldn't be less mundane if you tried. You twirl the delicate dagger pendant at your throat, a twin to the one strapped to your thigh beneath the lace.
Shall I bring the poisoned apples for the teacher's luncheon? Or is that too on the nose?
Lucius steps closer, his fingers brushing the nape of your neck as he reaches past you for his cane, letting his lips graze your ear. "Bring 2. Severus has been dull lately." You slip into the black dress with deliberate grace, the fabric whispering against your skin like a promise of mischief. As you fasten the dagger pendant at your throat, your reflection winks back at you, all sharp edges and secrets. Lucius watches from the doorway, his cane tapping an impatient rhythm against the marble floor. "The carriage won't wait forever, darling. Unless you'd prefer to fly in like some uncivilized..." You cut him off with a sudden spin, the dress swirling around you like a shadow-given form.
Patience, darling. Draco can suffer a little longer.
You pluck a vial of something interesting from your vanity and tuck into your clutch with a smirk.
Besides, the best entrances are fashionably late.
Lucius sighs, but there's a gleam in his steel-grey eyes as he offers you his arm. "Try not to scandalize every professor before dessert." You laugh, sliding your hand into the crook of his elbow.
No promises.
The Malfoy carriage cuts through the morning mist like a blade, the enchanted griffins on its doors gleaming silver against the dawn. You lounge against the velvet seats, your dagger pendant catching the light as Lucius taps his signet ring against his knee, 3 precise strikes counting down the seconds until chaos. You trail a finger along the window.
Remember, darling, if McGonagall tries to lecture us about Draco's unfocused energy, I reserve the right to transfigure her tea into something volatile.
Lucius doesn't smile, but the corner of his mouth twitches as he flicks open the Daily Prophet, conveniently obscuring his face from your view. "Do try to limit yourself to 1 public scandal before noon." The carriage dips sharply as it descends toward Hogwarts gates. Through the window, you spot Draco waiting at the steps, pale as the marble behind him, his prefect badge askew. The moment he sees you waving blithely from the window, he mouths what looks suspiciously like
Merlin's pants.
You blow him a kiss just as the wheels crunch to a halt. Lucius sighs, long, suffering, and offers you his hand. "Shall we enlighten the masses?" You step out onto the gravel. Somewhere behind you, Draco buries his face in his hands. The gravel crunches beneath your heels as you take Lucius's arm, surveying the assembled parents and professors with a serpentine smile. Dumbledore's twinkling gaze meets yours first, always too perceptive, but you merely tilt your head, tapping your dagger pendant twice in silent challenge. Draco sidles up, his whisper frantic.
Please don't start a duel at breakfast.
You pat his cheek with your free hand.
Only if you introduce us to that adorable Slytherin you've been mooning over.
Draco chokes. Lucius arches a brow. Snape materializes from the shadows like a bat who's smelt drama.
"The elderberry scones are poisoned. Do try to pace yourselves."
Lucius exhales, half exasperation, half pride, as you sweep toward the Great Hall, your laugh ringing out like a silver bell dipped in venom. The Great Hall doors swing open with theatrical flourish, and for a heartbeat, every conversation stutters to a halt. Parents gape, professors stiffen, and a first-year drops their pumpkin juice with a splash. You glide forward on Lucius's arm, the slit in your dress revealing a flash of gartered dagger as the morning light catches your pendant just so. A Hufflepuff mother whispers.
"Are those real basilisk fangs on her earrings?"
You turn with a smile.
Why, yes. A souvenir from my husband's philanthropic endeavors.
Lucius's cane taps once, a warning disguised as punctuation, as Dumbledore rises from the high table with twinkling amusement.
Ah, the other Madam Malfoy. How delightful of you to join us before the fire whiskey is served.
Draco sinks lower in his seat. Snape pinches the bridge of his nose. And you spot a certain blushing Slytherin sixth year across the room, the one Draco's been not staring at all term, and wink. The resulting chaos is glorious. Lucius murmurs in your ear, 4 minutes. New record. You pluck a scone from a passing tray and take a pointed bite. The great hall erupts into murmurs as Draco's cheeks flush crimson, his silverware clattering onto his plate. The blushing Slytherin across the table ducks behind their goblet, but not before you catch the way Draco's fingers twitch toward his own drink. You lean towards Lucius, voice honeyed.
Oh, darling. Do you think we should organize the betrothal contract now or wait until after dessert?
Lucius exhales sharply through his nose, the closest he'll come to laughing in public, as Dumbledore twinkles knowingly from the head table. McGonagall's lips press into a thin line, her teacup rattling ominously. Severus Snape materializes behind you.
For Merlin's sake, must you turn every meal into a 3-act play?
You press a hand to your chest in mock affront, your dagger pendant glinting against the black silk.
Severus, dear, I'm merely participating in school spirit.
You glance pointedly at the enchanted ceiling where green and silver banners flutter.
Speaking of which, when do we tour the dungeons? I've heard they've added such charming new decor.
A Hufflepuff parent chokes on their pumpkin juice. Lucius adjusts his cuffs with affected boredom, but you don't miss the proud gleam in his eyes as Draco groans into his hands. Somewhere beyond the chaos, the castle itself seems to sigh. Another normal day with the Malfoys. The enchanted candles flicker as Lucius guides you toward the Slytherin table, his polished cane clicking against the stone floor like a metronome counting down to disaster. You pause behind Draco's seat, your silk glove resting lightly on his shoulder, just long enough to feel him tense. You whisper, lips brushing his ear.
Relax, Dragonling. Your little crush is watching.
Draco's knife screeches across his plate. Across the table, the blushing Slytherin nearly inhales their pumpkin pasty. Lucius surveys the scene with icy amusement, murmuring just loud enough for nearby Ravenclaws to overhear. Such unrefined table manners this year. Perhaps we should donate another set of silver. A chorus of gasps ripples through the hall as you pluck a chocolate frog from Draco's untouched dessert plate and pop it between your teeth, whole.
Still alive. How thrilling.
The bloody Baron floats through the wall behind you, takes one look at the unfolding spectacle, and immediately reverses course. Somewhere above, the enchanted ceiling darkens ominously. Whether in sympathy or warning, even the stars themselves can't decide. The moment your fingers tighten around the gilded dessert fork, Lucius's hand snakes out fast as an adder to catch your wrist. His thumb presses against your pulse point. His voice drops to a velvet murmur. Not the trifle, darling. Severus stirred that one himself. Across the hall, Snape pointedly swirls his own goblet, the wine inside an interesting shade of arsenic green. Draco seizes the distraction to hiss.
If you ever call me Dragonling in public again, I'll...
You pluck a sugared violet from his plate.
You'll what? Write home to father?
Lucius's chuckle is barely audible, just a whisper of breath against your temple, as he leans in, his signet ring glinting coldly in the candlelight. Leave the boy his pride. We have better prey today. His gaze flicks meaningfully toward the high table. You smile. The elves, bless their clever little hearts, have spiked the raspberry sauce. As Lucius receives word that Dumbledore has requested his presence, Theodore Nott and Blaise Zabini exchange glances, the kind that promises mischief, as Dumbledore's twinkling gaze settles on Lucius. Your husband's fingers tighten imperceptibly around his cane before he bends his head in mocking acquiescence. Do try not to corrupt anyone beyond repair in my absence. His smirk lingers as he strides toward the marble staircase, leaving you there with 2 smirking Slytherins and a very disgruntled Draco. Blaise Zabini offers his arm with exaggerated gallantry.
Madam Malfoy, might I interest you in the hidden passage to the prefect's bath? The view is educational.
Theodore Nott pockets his wand with a sly grin.
Or we could visit the come-and-go room. Heard Potter's been using it for secret meetings. Wouldn't you love to disrupt that?
Draco swears under his breath, stepping between them like an exasperated shield.
If either of you so much as blink in her direction...
You laugh, looping your arm through Draco's while sliding Theo's wand from his sleeve with your free hand.
Oh, Dragonling, I adore your protective streak. But really,
You toss Theo's wand in the air and catch it, spinning it deftly between your fingers.
if I wanted to misbehave, I would have started with the headmaster's lemon drops.
Theo's eyes widen. Blaze barks a laugh. And Draco sighs, already resigned to his fate as you sweep the trio toward the dungeons, humming a waltz that sounds suspiciously like the Death March. The torchlight flickers against the damp dungeon walls as Blaze leads your little procession with exaggerated swagger, tossing a smirk over his shoulder.
So, tell us, Madam Malfoy, how does it feel being the only person alive who can make Draco blush on command?
Draco's elbow jabs into Blaze's ribs. Theo snorts into his sleeve. You merely smile, twirling Theo's stolen wand between your fingers before pressing it to your lips in a mock kiss.
Oh, it's delightful. But far less fun than watching you two squirm.
Theo chokes. Blaze's smirk falters just for a second before he schools his expression into something smoother. Theo recovers, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial murmur.
Then you'll love this next bit.
He reaches out, brushing his fingertips along a seemingly ordinary stretch of stone until it shudders beneath his touch, revealing a hidden archway slick with damp moss. Beyond it, a winding staircase, lit only by eerie blue lanterns. Draco grits his teeth.
Absolutely not.
Blaze grins.
Afraid she'll like us more, Malfoy?
You don't wait for an answer, stepping forward, your heels clicking against the first moss-slick step.
Darling Draco, if I wanted to corrupt your friends, I'd have started with Veritasium in their pumpkin juice.
Theo's breath hitches. Blaze's grin sharpens. Draco mutters what sounds like a prayer to any deity listening. And as the hidden passage seals shut behind you, the castle shivers. The eerie blue lanterns cast shifting shadows across the ancient stone steps as you descend, the hem of your dress whispering against the moss-covered stairs. The air grows thick with the scent of damp earth and something darker, something that makes the hair on the back of Theo's neck stand up. Blaze, ever the opportunist, closes the distance between you, his voice a velvet purr.
Careful, Madam Malfoy. These steps are treacherously slick. Perhaps you should hold on to someone.
Draco's jaw clenches audibly as he shoulders past him, offering you his arm with all the grace of a disgruntled knight.
If you two even breathe wrong, I'm feeding you to the giant squid.
Theo, who has been watching this unfold with growing amusement, finally speaks up, his tone dripping with faux innocence.
Draco, relax. We're just showing her the castle's hidden charms.
You stifle a laugh, trailing your fingers along the damp wall, and then suddenly stop.
What's this?
Pressed into the stone is a faint, shimmering handprint, too small to be an adult's, pulsing with a soft, eerie glow. Silence. Even Blaze hesitates. Draco's eyes narrow.
That wasn't here last week.
Theo reaches out, but before his fingers can brush the mark, a cold wind howls up the staircase, extinguishing every lantern at once. Darkness. Then, a whisper against your ear, too soft to be Blaze, close to be Theo's.
You shouldn't be here.
Draco's wand ignites with a sharp lumos, revealing nothing. The handprint is gone. You, smiling, despite the chill crawling up your spine.
Well, that was inviting.
Blaze exhales sharp. Theo's fingers twitch toward his missing wand. And Draco? Draco looks like he's seriously considering murder. The darkness clings to the stairwell like a living thing, Draco's wand light flickering as the air grows thick with the scent of iron and damp earth. Blaze's usual smirk has vanished, his knuckles whitening around his own wand as shadows dance across the walls in shapes too deliberate to be mere trickery. Then, a faint drip, drip, drip echoes from below. Theo's voice is taut with false calm.
That's new.
Draco shoves past him, his free hand catching your wrist, not to pull you back, but to anchor himself as he steps forward, jaw set.
We're leaving.
The declaration would be more convincing if the staircase behind you hadn't sealed shut. Blaze exhales a slow, sharp breath through his nose.
Well, this is cozy.
You tilt your head, listening, because beneath the dripping there's something else. A sound like breathing, ragged, hungry, then a child's laughter. Hi! Wrong. Draco's grip on your wrist tightens. Theo reaches instinctively for his absent wand and freezes as the voice from before sighs, this time from beneath the stairs.
You were warned.
Your dagger pendant thrums against your collarbone, and the staircase plunges downward. The world tilts violently as the staircase transforms into a sheer slide, stone groaning, lanterns shattering against the walls in bursts of blue fire. Draco's grip on your wrist slips as you're all thrown forward, tumbling into the abyss. Theo swears colourfully as he crashes into Blaze, their limbs tangling mid-fall. Draco manages to hook an arm around your waist, just as the slide drops into empty air and you land in a graceless heap on cold flagstones, the impact shuddering through bones. Silence. Then, Blaze, muffled from beneath Theo.
I profoundly regret my life choices.
Draco sits up slowly, his hair disastrously askew, his prefect badge hanging by a thread. His wand light flickers over towering stone arches, older than the castle above, carved with runes that pulse when illuminated. You dust off your dress with deliberate calm.
Well, someone doesn't like visitors.
A slow drip echoes from the shadows. Then another. Theo goes very still.
That's not water.
The crimson droplets gleam in the wand light as they pool between cobblestones, leading toward a pair of small bare footprints. Draco's breath catches, the dagger pendant at your throat burns cold, and from the darkness something giggles. The giggling echoes unnaturally, too close, too aware, as the crimson footprints lead deeper into the cavernous chamber. Blaze staggers to his feet, wand clenched in a white knuckle grip, while Theo exhales sharply through his nose, half challenge, half fear.
This is not how I imagined showing off for you.
Draco ignores him entirely, his gaze locked onto the darkness ahead where the footprints vanish.
We leave. Now.
But the moment he steps backward, the runes on the arches flare, a sickly green light bleeding through the carving, illuminating words older than Hogwarts itself. Only the guilty flee. The dagger pendant sears against your skin. A child's voice hums right beside your ear.
Stay and play.
Before dissolving into static, Blaze's wand tip wavers.
Did we just anger a ghost?
Oh, darling. Ghosts don't leave footprints.
The shadows breathe. The runes pulse. And from the dark, a small pale hand reaches. The hand stretches impossibly long, fingers curling like spiders' legs, before suddenly snatching Theo's cloak, yanking him forward with inhuman strength. He barely manages to twist free, stumbling back into Blaze as his breath comes in sharp gasps.
Okay, new plan. We incinerate whatever the hell that is.
Draco doesn't argue, just levels his wand at the encroaching shadows, jaw locked.
Incendio!
Fire erupts in a roaring arc, illuminating the cavern for one blinding moment, revealing rows upon rows of small skeletal figures embedded in the walls. Their hollow eye sockets tracking your every move. The flames die as quickly as they came. Silence. Then, the giggling again, this time from every direction. Blaze starts backing up towards Draco.
We are so dead.
You click your tongue, stepping forward instead, your stolen wand held loosely between your fingers.
Now, children. Surely we can negotiate.
A pause. The shadows hush. Then a whisper against your neck, cold as grave dirt.
Liar.
Every lantern in the chamber shatters at once. The hand curls around the edge of a broken pillar. Small, delicate fingers peeling away centuries of dust as something steps into the emerald glow of the runes. A girl, no older than 11. Her Hogwarts uniform hangs in tatters, her face half hidden by matted hair the color of tarnished silver. But her eyes are black, bottomless, gleaming like wet ink in the eerie light. She tilts her head too far, the motion inhuman, smiles.
You smell like him.
Her gaze pins Draco, who stiffens as if struck.
Like who?
The girl laughs, the sound splintering into a dozen whispering voices, and then she's gone. A swirl of rags and shadows, leaving only the lingering scent of iron and rosemary. Theo swears violently.
What in Salazar's name was that?
A thunderous crash echoes from above, stone grinding against stone as the sealed staircase reopens. Moonlight spills down the steps, along with the unmistakable click of Lucius' cane. Really, darling, must you always find the one cursed ruin in a 5-mile radius? You dust your skirts with deliberate calm, ignoring how Blaze and Theo look at Lucius like he's salvation incarnate, and smile.
It's a gift.
Draco exhales, shaky, relieved, as Lucius descends, his gaze flickering over the pulsing runes with cold recognition. Ah, the gaunt girl. Silence. Blaze chokes, Theo goes pale. And you? You press your stolen wand to Lucius' chest, grinning as the dagger pendant thrums between you.
Oh, darling, you owe me a story.
The torchlight flickers wildly as Lucius's fingers close around your wrist, not to restrain, but to press your stolen wand firmly against his own chest. His silver eyes gleam with something darker than amusement. Merop Gaunt died long before they built this castle's foundations. That, he jerks his chin toward the empty dark where the girl vanished, is not a ghost. It's a memory the castle ate. Draco makes a sound perilously close to a whimper. Theo discreetly edges behind Blaze. You trail your free hand up Lucius's arm.
How deliciously morbid. Do go on.
Lucius smirks, leaning down until his lips brush your ear. Later, when we're alone. The implication hangs in the air like a curse, broken only by Blaze's strangled cough and Draco's despairing groan. The runes flare one final time before plunging the chamber into silence. You ascend the stairs, Lucius's palm settling at the small of your back like a king ushering chaos home.